So what we're going to talk about today is communication tools to increase intimacy. Now, looking at this picture up here, what would you say are some communication tools that would increase intimacy? What do you see in these pictures that would increase intimacy in communication as a couple? I see you shaking. Yeah. Well, what's that shaking your head? Yeah. Trick question. Those are not communication skills to increase intimacy. A crying baby. Yeah, that's gonna help a lot. The couple up there that's stone faced, not looking at each other. Yeah, not so much. The football game. Football season, did it start this week? Yeah. This weekend? Yeah, all right, the TV's on. Football, you know, how much is that going to help? You know, the guy that's looking at the watch, yeah, dear, right? Yeah, not so much. Well, those aren't particularly tools that are going to increase intimacy, communication. What do you guys see in this picture?
Communication.
And what behavior or what are you seeing that indicates good communication? Looking at each other. Facial expressions, interested in each other. Anything else?
It's distracted by newspapers.
Right. There's not a whole lot of stuff going on. There's not, the TV's not going on. They're not texting on their phone. They're looking at each other. It looks like a quiet, calm situation. So if you would turn in your worksheets. Also, when you take this preparing a rich assessment, after you take it, then there is a workbook that comes with it. And what we're going to do is just go over a couple of the worksheets that are in this book. So the first page, well, let me just go back. The first page is on page 2. It has those 10 questions that you guys answered. And what we do is we have the couple just for themselves look in these areas and say, what areas do you feel personally is strength in your relationship? And they do this separately. And then you also ask, what do you feel is areas that you need growth in or something that you need some help with? And then the couples go and do it separately, and then they come back together and they talk about it, where they are. So that's the first part of the workbook. The next part of the workbook, well, one of the next things that we're going to talk about is just basic communication. What we find out with a lot of the couples that I work with, is communication is a big part of what they need help with. If you can communicate, then a lot of the other stuff falls into place. Roles and responsibilities and how we treat, how we are with our family, habits and things like that. So a lot of times we spend quite a bit of time on good communication. So right here, like we said, this first one is giving full attention to your partner, turning off the phone, shutting off the TV, making good eye contact. The next communication to increase your intimacy is to focus on the good qualities of each other. Good job. Remember why you fell in love with this person. Remember the good things about him. It's really easy to, we're tired, we worked all day, the kids are yelling. It's just real easy to forget those good things. Like the speaker was saying this afternoon, to sit down and have that attitude of gratitude and think about the positive things. And it's very important to do that about our spouses. Remember those positive things and the good qualities that attracted us to our spouse. The next one is assertiveness, which is different than aggressiveness. Assertiveness is the ability to express your feelings and ask for what you want and what you need. Research shows that is so important to have a healthy relationship. And even children that are in a bad situation and have good resilience, that what they find out are these kids are able to ask for what they want and what they need. So us in a healthy relationship, we need to be able to tell our partner what we want and what we need. And that's just going to go a long ways. And a way to do this is called iMessages. Some of you ever heard of iMessages before? Okay. iMessages are, when we need to let a person know what we want and what we need, but the way we present that is going to determine on how that person accepts that. If we come across demanding and entitled, it's not going to go as well as if you can say, if there's a problem, if you can say what the person did, the first part of it, and when they did it, document it. I don't know, some of you at work, you have to document what they said and when they said it, And then you need to say how that affects you, either emotionally or concretely. So an example of this would be, say my husband came home late from work last night, and it just really made me angry. So, he comes home late from work, I get mad, I shut the door, I just don't talk to him, I stomp off. What's he going to know from that? Nothing, So a healthier, more productive way to take care of that situation would be to say, when you came home late last night, what the person did, they came home late last night, and then the important reason to say when this happened is it's real easy for us to say, you always come home late, or you never are on time. And then what we start doing, we start fighting about those always and those nevers. And the idea here is to be productive and try to work through problems and get to the bottom of it. So when you came home late last night, because I'm just talking about last night, I'm not talking about forever, I'm not talking about never, I'm just talking about last night, it made me feel upset because I waited for the kids to eat, and then the dinner was cold, and then they were hungry, and then they went to bed late, and you can tell how that actually affected you and how it made you feel. And as opposed to just slamming the doors or yelling at the person, you never care about anything, and that doesn't help anything. So if you can tell the person what they did and when they did it and how that affected you, then they can respond back. They can say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that, or I'll try to call the next time or something like that. So it's important to tell somebody what you want and what you need. Does that make sense? Okay. Not communication tools to increase intimacy. Hinting doesn't work. If you don't do anything, stop hinting. Say what you want and what you need. There's a real good joke, and you guys have probably heard it, but a lady was about to have her birthday, and she's real excited about her birthday. She got up for her birthday, and guess what? Husband didn't remember the birthday. And so she says, okay, dear, tomorrow morning, out on that driveway, the big red bow on it, I want something that's going to go from 0 to 200 in 15 seconds. He goes, okay, I get it. Good. All right. So next morning she's excited. She opens the curtain, looks out, and there is a scales with a red bow on it. Hinting doesn't work. Hinting doesn't work. Be specific. Mind reading, even though we think our partner should know what we're thinking, they can't mind read. They really, really can't. And sometimes we have this attitude, if we have to tell somebody or we have to ask for it, it doesn't count. Well, if I have to tell my husband that I want a nice dinner for my birthday, well then that doesn't count. That's not true. It doesn't really lessen that meaning. You need to say what you want and what you need. We're talking here about good communication, healthy communication, how to increase intimacy. And be very careful about that word should. You should know, or it's obvious. It's obvious it's my birthday. It's obvious that you should know. Not good communication skills there. So just remember those things. And this is also another way of putting those I messages. So we're not hinting, we're not trying to say you should be doing this. Is say I feel, and then say how you're feeling when you, and then you say what happened and because, and then you say what what happened and how that affects you. So that's just another way of saying those iMessages. Another good communication skill to increase intimacy is to avoid criticism. What research has found is in relationships that are healthy, if a person said one negative thing, how many positive things do you think it takes to off-balance that one negative thing? Now we're talking about a healthy relationship, a relationship that's not stressed. Anybody want to venture a guess how much that's going to take? One negative thing, how many positive things is it going to take? Yes, it takes about 5. Now, what about a relationship that is stressed? One negative thing to how many positive things to balance it off? More. Any other guess? You say 10? Anybody else want to guess? What's that?
20.
It takes about 20. So yeah, so it's one of these things. When you want to say something a little negative, a little critical, you might want to stop and think for a few seconds. One negative, critical thing, and how many things are I'm going to have to say positive to balance that out. So that's something to be aware of and be cautious with. So strive first to understand, and then to be understood. You need to listen to what the person is saying and not judge. Listen to what they're saying and don't try to do that rebuttal and think. Listen truly to what that person is saying. So this is called active listening or parroting or mirroring. Has anybody heard of that before? Active listening, parroting is the ability to let your partner know you understand them by restating their message. And this sounds kind of canned and cheesy and uncomfortable, but it's really, really important to do something like that. What I want you guys to do now is to think of your favorite drive-through restaurant. We're not worried about food or nutrition at this point. Well, somebody say one of the someplace they like to eat, drive-through. Sonic? Okay. Where's that? Brahms? Ah. Not from Garden City, are you? It must be great. That one. All right, Brahms, Sonic. Anybody else like to eat someplace else, drive-through? Okay. So tell me what happens. We go to the drive-through window at Sonic, or you push a little button, and what happens? What do you do?
Order your food.
Order your food, okay? And then what's the next thing that happens?
They repeat it back to you.
Exactly. They repeat it back to you. Why do they repeat it back to you?
That's right.
That's right. Make sure they have your order right. And that is all we're talking about doing with this active listening is you say something, the other person listens and repeats back to make sure that they understand what's going on. Because there can be a lot of misunderstanding, just innocent misunderstanding. I got an example of this. I have a daughter that has a little baby, and this was when she was like a year old. And I was visiting her at her house, and I was in my granddaughter's bedroom, and my daughter says, "Could you go get that blanket with a pair of shooting ducks on it?" And I thought, a pair of shooting ducks on a baby's blanket? That's really interesting. We grew up with guns and hunting, so that's no big deal. But maybe this is a blanket from NRA. I don't know, but wow, a baby's blanket with a pair of shooting ducks. And I'm looking for it. I don't see it. She was the green one. Oh, man, I don't see it. And so she comes in and she gets out this blanket that has a parachuting duck on it, a duck with a parachute on it. And that's what happens, That is a true story. That is a true story. That's what happens with communication, where, innocent communication, misunderstanding. So you want the blanket that has 2 ducks on it with loaded guns? No. This is a duck that, jumped out of the airplane with a parachute. So you see why it's important to repeat back. And then what happens when we're kind of in a heated conversation, or we're stressed out, or we've had a bad day, then we're just kind of more likely to misunderstand things, or hear things a little wrong, or take things maybe in a negative way. So that's why it's important to do this repeating back. So that's another way of having communication skills that help. The other one is to realize that we are a team. As a couple, we're trying to work for a solution together. And it's not like I win and you lose. It's like we're looking for the solution for us as a team and what's best for us. Any questions in regards to those that we just went over? Okay. Then the next thing that that this workbook offers is called the 10-step approach for resolving conflicts. And you'll see this on page 9 of your workbook. Now this is a lovely picture, you know. This is quite the steps. But you know, if we have to walk up those steps, and that's probably Hawaii, I'm assuming, you know, that's all right. We can do that, no problem. However, sometimes when we're trying to solve problems, it's more like that, walking up there. You know, hot, steep, scary, tired, but we'll just pretend it's like this for now, you know, for purposes of this talk. So the first thing in this 10-step approach for resolving conflict is set a time and a place for the discussion. You know, Aspen, Colorado, Estes Park, you know, find a nice place to set time. You know, that's probably not real practical. Probably what's going to happen is in the front room when the kids are in bed. And I don't know about you guys, but when I had kids, my front room didn't look like that. You get the general idea, you know. Set a time, set a specific place. That goes back to that first picture that we saw with the couples that were looking at each other. The kids aren't running around, the TV's not going. Set a time and a place to talk about the problem. The next part, what is the problem? This is so crucial to this problem-solving process. You know, we have people solving problems here. But what's going on with these two girls here?
Each does their own.
Yeah, they're solving problems, but they're each solving their own problem. And as us as a couple, and we're trying to solve a problem, if I'm working on my problem and my spouse is working on his problem, even though we think we're working on the same problem, we're probably not working on the same problem. And if we're not working on the same problem, we're probably not going to come up with the right solution. And this goes back to that communication and being clear and understanding what the person has said and not reading their mind and being assertive and being able to say what we want and what we need. So what do we see in this picture here? They're working on the same problem. And so that is so important. If you sit down with your partner to work on a problem, you got to know what problem you're going to have you're working on. And it's very important to write it down and be specific, because sometimes, you know, just the smallest word or something will take you guys in both different directions. So make sure you're working on the same problem. Next, this is kind of hard. List the ways you each contribute to the problem. This might take a little bit of humility. This might take a little bit of thinking, but probably both people are involved in the problem one way or the other. If not the least of it is just not saying what you want or what you need. Maybe that's just it. But sit down, think about what is my part in this problem. Not what is your part, but what is my part in this problem. And then list past attempts to solve the problems that weren't successful, that didn't work. You know, we tried a square peg in the round hole, that didn't work. You know, we just got a bigger hammer and hit it a little harder. We just put a Band-Aid on it, we jumped through hoops. Think of the things that you did that didn't solve the problems. Because there's no need to do things that didn't work and try them again, So, but it's good to know what you have tried in the past. And then the next thing is to brainstorm new ideas and write down 10 of them. And brainstorming is when you just throw out ideas. It can be crazy, it can be off the wall, out of the box, it can, no judging going on. And the good thing about when you do brainstorming is it just kind of lets your mind think about different possibilities that you might not have normally thought of. And sometimes what happens then is we could win the lottery. And then you say, well, that's not very practical. But hey, maybe instead of taking that money, we could do something else. So sometimes when you brainstorm, it kind of triggers other thoughts that maybe are more practical. So what you do is you sit down and you come up with 10 ideas and brainstorm about it. And then the next one is to discuss and evaluate what solutions you have written down. Look at them all and say, oh, this one definitely is ridiculous. Well, this one might work, or this one might work. And you look through those and decide which ones would be good. And then you agree on one solution. Now, this might take a little going back and forth, but that's okay. Agree on one solution. And then, this is very important, you're going to talk about who's going to do what by when. I had a couple that, it's interesting what bothers people, For us, it seems like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? But no, this was a problem. The husband would come home and take naps on the bed but the bedspread was still on that. And the wife just got real upset with that. And so they brainstormed about it, and so, they came up with, okay, what are you going to do, and, what's the wife going to do, and what's the husband going to do? Well, the husband was going to try to remember and put the covers down so she wouldn't be upset, and the wife is just going to try to, if he forgot and didn't do it, was just going to try not to be upset. So it's important to decide who's going to do what and when it's going to be done. And then what you need to do is set up a time again to reevaluate how this worked. It's going to depend on what the problem is and how your time frame. Maybe in a week, let's get back together and see how this is going to work. Or in 3 days, let's get back together and see how this is going to work. Maybe it's going to work good. Maybe it didn't work at all. Maybe it worked kind of all right, but we needed to tweak it a little bit. But it's important to get back together and decide on if it worked and what needs to be done next. So, this is just a brief overview of some of the things that are found in the Prepared and Enrich assessment. Like I said, it's a big assessment. We have the workbook that goes with it. The first thing that it does, it evaluates the couple's relationships, looking at areas of strengths and weaknesses. It talks about good communication skills. The iMessage is the parroting, back and forth. Talks about conflict resolution. Other things that it covers, if the couple have some problems with financial management, there's worksheets on how different spouses view money. If we have a spouse that views money as something that is for security, or if it's money is something that is for fun and pleasure, and you have those two different views, that can cause some problems in the relationship. Also, there's worksheets on parenting and talking about expectations. So there's a lot of different things. The Prepare and Enrich also does, it shows different personality traits, like if you're introverted or extroverted, if your husband likes to, during Christmas time, stay in the basement away from the family, and you would rather want to be with the parents and the grandparents and the grandchildren. It shows that, and it's not that one is wrong and one is right, but this is just personality traits that we have. And it's important that we understand that about our spouses and our partners, that we have different things that are important to us, and to remember things like that. So, are there any questions or comments?